Well, my most fun parts of this were when Pat kept coming up with additional things to do. Like showing albatross on the water skating. And I got this albatross that wasn't on water, and I put him on water. That was fun. But one fun thing was I couldn't find the Fair Chase, Captain Bob's boat, and because it's not kept at Arena Cove Harbor there. So I finally called, and we exchanged some emails, and in one of them, Bob's wife Laura says, well, we hope this is profitable for you and Pat. And I said, you know, we really don't care how profitable it is. We're just going to do it. And see how it comes out. And she says, Bob and I do everything like that. And we're like, so there's Captain Bob's boat. And got some unusual views of Arena Cove, like fish cleaning station.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And let's see. Oh, Al and Surfer checking each other out. And the thing that surprised me, one thing about albatrosses was the huge wingspan. You know, you see Al in the water, and he looks just like a big seagull. And you think, what's so special about that? And then you see him in the air, and the wings just go forever. And I was in trying to figure out, what do you do about a bird with an 11-foot wingspan? How do you show that? And I walked down the street and started measuring cars. And I found a van that was 11 feet long. So that's why I painted that picture. This van was actually parked here, just to let you know. And, oh, a fun one was, Pat says, do a picture of an albatross diving. And I looked all over the internet for a picture of an albatross diving, couldn't find anything. And I could find lots of them of albatrosses taking off. And the shapes, I watched film clips of it in Guam and Midway. Albatrosses taken off, and I'd stop it and try to draw it real fast. And the shapes in the wings were just amazing. But I couldn't find one of albatross diving. And then finally I hit a scientific paper about diving birds, and they talked about cormorants and pelicans and how their shoulder muscles, their shoulders are configured so that they can dive fast into the water and it doesn't hurt them. Albatrosses aren't like that. They're built for long distance flying, but not for diving. So they're surface feeders. They don't go more than 3 feet deep. And therefore, we couldn't get one of the albatross diving. So that's the end of my experience. We learned a lot about albatrosses.
The Laysan albatross is the smallest of many of the species of albatross, and their wingspan is usually 7 to 8 feet. It made it, because the largest wingspan is 11, it made it kind of more of a story.
It made a better picture.
But in truth, yeah. I learned that albatrosses can fly as long, and maybe you'll correct me on this, 2,000 miles a day they've been reported in flight. And one of the ways they do that, because you think about seagulls, and seagulls, you know, are going like this. Well, in albatross they do a thing called flap gliding, where they may flap to get on, and then they're able to lock the wings, I guess almost like it would be like an airplane, and they soar. And that's why these big wings get all this good lift. And they tend to be in areas where there are good wind currents.
Could you do that again? I missed it the first time.
A fisherman told me, a lot of times when fishermen are out on the ocean, they'll spot a bird that is looking for fish, and they'll follow the bird because that will lead them to a school of fish. They said if we see an albatross, we never follow him, because that guy may be going 2,000 miles.
The fact that he's been coming for so long,
I want to know the lifespan of an albatross.
Oh, good question.
It's 50 years is the longest on record. A liaison is 40, I believe. We are so lucky up here. And I hope, someone said the other day, let's have a party next November when Al is back. Let's all go down and have a party. So wouldn't that be fun if the kids were able to come down? And we'll just have a party while hanging back. If Tom can, he surfs every day. But whenever Al's around, he sees him. You know. He has actually, just so you guys know, he's nibbled at Tom's fingers. When he's been out there. And as Tom says, I still have all my fingers. So, but he's very friendly and seems to really enjoy people. The Goonie birds, they call them, which is in the book, is what at least the military personnel. My dad, when he was in World War II, remembers sitting in Guam and watching these crazy birds, and they kind of fall all over each other and roll down the runway, and it really is a pastime. Captain Bob, who has a boat in the Point Arena Harbor, speaks fondly of Al. He loves that when his boat leaves and enters the harbor, Al will often come up to greet him. Captain Bob says that unlike several pelicans that hang around the food looking for snacks, Al doesn't seem to want food. He feels Al has a wonderful calmness to his nature, and he seems to be bidding him good sailing and glad you're back safely when his boat returns. Interestingly, Captain Bob never sees Al when he is out in the ocean.
And that's Captain Bob.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
You know, I'm struck by birds in general, and we know birds are, many species are really, really intelligent. And this warmth that, this bond that Al seems to be establishing with some of, Tom and Captain Bob and others, I think that's just, I love to anthropomorphize these animals anyway. I think it's really cool. If you would like the book, we have plenty of them up there. If you take all of those, we've got more in the car. And just take it. Bruce and Pat will be glad to autograph it.
And Captain Bob?
And Captain Bob, right. And then we trust you to take it down to the bookstore and pay for it. It just works like that. And that's the way we do it. And we just thank you guys so very much for being here. And if you have other questions, you can certainly ask them as you're getting your book signed. Let's say thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell Bob. Yeah, Al's probably looking for a mate when he's out there.
Well, I'll read it first. Might take me a little while.
Sarah Lena, did you get it signed by all three of them?